Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. I'm Vinny Motiwala, with me Cheryl D'Souza as well. Cheryl, a very good afternoon to you as well. And markets, yes, gap up opening, then fell down, then again is coming up back. It's a bit of a seesaw, not seesaw exactly, but they're managing to hold on to gains.
That's what they say, when you're greedy, you just want the markets to just go higher and higher, isn't it?
Nothing
the fact
is enough.
That we started at record high, we've tried to maintain those levels. 3% up move coming in for Nifty. Vinny today, yes, 700 points is the up move coming for the Nifty. As we speak, we are building on those gains once again, and it looks like we are headed to where we started, near the day's highest point, coming in for the benchmark indices, ditto coming in for Nifty, Bank. And today is not only just about these benchmark indices, right? Take a look at the PSU counters. PSE index, Nifty PSE index was trading higher by about 7%. PSU Bank index also was trading higher by about 7% or so. One of the biggest beneficiaries in trade today. Apart from that, you also strong up move coming in the power sector, in the oil and gas sector, the realty sector, all of them seeing spectacular moves. And to note would be that the metal, the financial, the PSU sector, all of them are at fresh record high levels in trade today. So yes, just the day before the big verdict on 2024 Lok Sabha elections, Vinny.
Absolutely, surely keeping an eye out on that. But with that, let's get started with all the stocks that are be buzzing in trade on the back of news flows or on the back of technicals. And on the technicals, we are joined by Sneha Seth from the research team. We do have Ansh as well as Snehi joining in with us. A very good afternoon to all three of y'all as well. And I'll start with the first stock that's in focus today. Let's talk about Welspun Corp. That is buzzing in trade. Why? Because now what you've seen is the associate company of Welspun Corp, that is EPIC, has signed a multi-agreement contract, and this is worth around 3,670 crores. The duration of the contract is between East Pipes Integrated Company and the Saudi Aramco is of around 19 months, and the company, that is EPIC, that's involved in making and manufacturing helical submerged arc welded saw pipes, and this is what is a very big contract that's coming from Welspun Corp. We're seeing that the company is managing to hold on to gains of almost 1.5% as of now, Sharon.
Alright, so that is all about Welspun Corp in trade today, but let's talk about Coal India, and it's seen a good move in trade today, and this after the May production data coming in. No doubt it's also one of those beneficiaries in the PSU pack, but nevertheless Coal India has hit a fresh record high level, surging in excess of about 7% on an intraday basis. Last time when I checked, the stock was trading higher by about 5% or so. There you go, 4.8% up move coming in for Coal India. They said that the production in the month of May rose by about 7.5% on a year-on-year basis, and that's one of the reasons why the stock is in an uptrend in trade today. Apart from the fact that you have seen a lot of government push coming in for the PSU sector, so that's why also the entire PSU sector is buzzing in trade post the exit poll data that has come out. So Coal India buzzing in trade, trading high above 5% as we speak.
Okay, let's move on to the first stock on the technicals, and then Sneha, you've picked out IndusInd Bank for us. This one has not done much in the last 6 months. So finally, do you see this picking up pace now?
Yes, if we see banking index, though the Nifty, did hit a fresh record high recently, but banking index wasn't performing. But last 2 sessions has been very good as far as this sector is concerned. And private sector banks specifically, they were trading in a very narrow range for quite some time. And finally, I see that IndusInd Bank, which was earlier performing well, has entered into a consolidation phase wherein on the higher side, I believe 1478, 1480 was a resistance zone. Today we had a gap up and the stock is already up by 4.5%. I believe we may see a continuation of this up move because we have seen a falling trend line, a resistance being bridged, and I believe we may see an extension of this move towards say 1570, 1575 odd zone. So this counter is a buy for me if anyone wants to go ahead and long this counter. With a strict stop loss of around 1490, one can go long.
Alright, a buy call coming in for IndusInd Bank. But Snehi, let's talk about REC with the rest of the PSU pack. You have REC soaring in trade, but there is a news also that is aiding the move, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. REC, last I checked, that stock was higher by more than 11%, and as of now also it is just building onto those gains. 12% higher is where the stock is now. Like you mentioned, apart from the entire PSU bank, you also have PFC that is mirroring these moves, but REC is in focus on the back of a news flow that the company's board has approved a fundraise via non-convertible debentures, which is NCDs, on the private placement basis up to an aggregate amount of 1.45 lakh crore rupees. The company will raise these funds via secured or unsecured non-convertible bonds or debentures up to this amount of 1.45 lakh crore. Meanwhile, in other news flow, the company's board has also approved the appointment of Harsh Paveja as the CFO and the Director of Finance of the company. So positive news flow coming in for the company. They've approved fundraising as well. On the back of that, the stock is higher by almost 12%.
Surely keeping an eye out on REC. Let's move on, talk about Aarti Pharma then. And Ansh, why have you picked out this stock for us today?
Right, so the company has actually received an order from Maharashtra Pollution Control Board Regional Office of Kalyan directing for closure of their manufacturing facility at the company's Dombivli plant. The company will shut down the production, that has actually shut down its production from May 31st. And if you check the contribution, then this plant actually contributes around 34.7 crore. Also on charts, if we see, then because of market's bullish sentiment, stock is actually has given a breakout from its downward sloping resistance trendline and has also surpassed about 20 DMA, trading 2% in green today.
Alright, so that's all about Aarti Pharma. Then let's shift focus. Let's talk about RBL Bank, Sneha. And do you think that this one has also come into that buy zone, even though you've seen a lot of these counters actually rebound from their recent lows?
Yes, I really do feel that we may see a very nice buying interest in the banking space. Specifically, PSUs were doing quite good, but private sector banks, there I see decent opportunities now. In case of RBL, we have seen a rising trendline support. From there only this counter has shown some buying interest. There was a resistance around 257 to 56 zone, and this counter has breached and the volumes are quite decent today. So I believe at present I expect this up move to continue towards 272. Any move beyond this will bring this counter near 290 and plus level. So I think the risk reward ratio is quite good at this point in time. If anyone wants to go ahead and long this counter, the earlier resistance around 256 to 57 should be acting as a support. So keeping that as a stop loss, one can go long.
One could go long and keep the stop loss in mind. That's a word coming in from Sneha. But let's move on, talk about Suzlon. And why is this one in focus? We have a brokerage note that's come on Suzlon today, where we're seeing that Morgan Stanley has initiated coverage with an overweight rating. The target price they've given is 58.5 rupees per share. Today the stock is locked in upper circuit. What they're highlighting is that Suzlon 2.0 is quite well positioned to benefit from the energy transition, and the market has not fully appreciated the growth potential yet that is there for the company. So that is why in terms of earnings also, they expect that to grow at 57% CAGR growth over the next 3 years. And on the back of that, today we're keeping an eye out on Suzlon, surely buzzing away in trade.
Alright, let's shift focus and let's talk about one particular sector that is also buzzing in trade, and that's the infra space in particular. But IRB Infra buzzing in trade, Snehi, and there is a news piece related to that.
Absolutely, Cheryl. So IRB Infra was up 10% the last time I checked that stock. It's right there as we speak. And this is on the back of a news flow of the National Highways Authority of India, which is the NHAI. They've hiked toll on expressways by an average of 5%. Also, we've been seeing some great volumes on the stock, and the buying momentum in the stock is triggered after this NHAI has hiked toll across 1100 toll plazas on the expressways in the country from as much as 3 to 5%. The move is positive for IRB Infra as well as Ashoka Buildcon, and we'll get to that stock also in a bit. The decision to this effect is implemented now due to the code of conduct instead of 1st April. Otherwise, this move would have kicked in earlier. But nonetheless, this move is kicked in now of the 3 to 5% average price increase on the 1100 tolls, and on the back of that, the stock is holding up pretty well, almost 10%.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock then, and stock number 9 for today is UPL. Sneha, UPL, when you look at it in the last 1 year, has not done anything, and it manages to go up a slight bit, then again sees a fall. In the last 1 month, we're seeing an uptick. Today also, UPL is trading with gains, but what is the view now?
If you look at the chart structure on a monthly chart, if we see, this counter has precisely made a base around the 61.8% retracement level. And recently, on 10th of May and 14th of May, we have seen recent volume-based buying in this counter. After that, this counter has made a support near, like its support has shifted towards 505 now. So anyone who wants to go ahead and long, I think the risk reward ratio is quite good. And on the monthly chart also, this counter looks quite good. So with a strict stop loss of 505, this is a buy for me. Any move beyond 550 will be interesting for this counter, which can bring it towards 620, 610 levels. So I think the risk reward ratio is quite good, and with a strict stop loss of 505, this is a buy for me.
All right, so on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Market Fatafat. When we come back, we'll talk about more stocks buzzing in trade. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET. Now, a lot of stocks buzzing in trade today. You name it, and that particular stock would be trading higher by 5 or 6%. But Ansh, let me talk about PNC Infra then. What's aiding the stock move today? How high the stock is trading?
Yeah, the stock is up around 5% in trade today. So actually, company has given intimation regarding receipt of around 398.6 crore payment in terms of settlement agreement executed between NHAI and PNC Kanpur Highway Limited, which is a subsidiary of the company, towards one-time settlement. Also, if you see the chart, then the stock seems to have given a good breakout from its 4-session consolidation pattern, and it trades above key DMA levels as well. So this keeps the bias positive for the stock.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on PNC Infra. But let's move on to the next stock and talk about Apollo Hospitals. Why have we picked up this one today? So we have a brokerage note that's come in on Apollo Hospitals. This is from CLSA, where they're upgrading the stock to an outperform from a previous buy. And what they're saying is that they've also raised the target price from 7,000 rupees to 7,000. 150 rupees per share. Now, why are they positive on Apollo Hospital? They say that the capping rates will be difficult to implement, and recent decline in the stock price was something that was unwarranted, but they're still keeping an eye out on Apollo Hospitals today. On the back of this brokerage note, today we're seeing Apollo Hospitals was trading with higher gains at one point of time, given up those gains, but still managing to hold on to some bit of a 7-10% of a gain as of now. That's for Apollo Hospitals. So yes, keep an eye out on that one.
All right, that's all about Apollo Hospital. Let's talk about Gujarat Gas then, Sneha. How is this one looking on the charts to you?
See, with this counter in last couple of sessions has been consolidating. However, if you see on the daily chart, 89 EMA has been acting as a support zone. It's been second straight session wherein we are seeing some buying interest with volume. This counter had a resistance around 568, 567 zone, and this counter has surpassed this resistance zone today, and it has also surpassed the falling trendline resistance zone. So I believe we may see 600 plus levels anytime soon. So again, if someone is looking for a buy with a strict stop loss of today's low, that is around 555, this is a buy for me, and 600, 620 is the levels to watch out.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock and talk about Ashoka Buildcon. Snehi, why have you picked out this one?
Well, Vinny, this stock has been picked on the back of two reasons. The first one, the same reason that was because of why IRB Infra was buzzing. Ashoka Buildcon also into a similar business. So that 5% hike by NHAI on tolls is what is aiding this stock. But other than that also, order win is the other reason why we have picked this stock. The stock has surged to an all-time high after the company has emerged as the lowest bidder for two projects worth 2,153 crore rupees from the Maharashtra State Road Development Corporation. The first project involves constructing a significant bridge across the Jaigarh Creek in Ratnagiri, which is in Maharashtra. This project will follow the EPC procedure, which is Engineering, Procurement and Construction model, with Ashoka Buildcon submitting the lowest bid at 794.8 crore rupees. This project is set to be completed in 36 months, and the second project involves another major bridge being built in the Kundalika Creek. This project will also be executed, including the EPC model, and Ashoka Buildcon's winning bid for this project was 1,537.8 odd crore rupees, and it is said to be completed within 36 calendar months. So this order win total comes up to 2,153 crores, and on the back of that, Ashoka Buildcon is up and away.
All right, let's talk about then the Adani group of counters, especially Adani Ports for first. Ansh, why is this one buzzing in trade? The entire group is buzzing in trade, but particularly for Adani Ports, what's the news piece?
That's right, and Adani Port is actually up over 9% in trade today. So the company, through its subsidiary, has entered into a concession to operate Container Terminal 2. Company, through its JV entity, has entered into a share purchase agreement for acquisition of a nearly 95% stake in Tanzania International Container Terminal Services, which is TICTS. The cost of acquisition is around $39.5 million. Adani will operate Container Terminal 2 through this TICTS. Also, if you see the chart, then the stock seems to have given a good breakout from its 7-session consolidation pattern, touching record high level. So for those reasons, the stock is in focus.
Okay, keeping an eye out on Adani Ports, but Adani portfolio has delivered a record performance for FY24 with 45% growth in EBITDA, reaching almost 83,000 crores. The core infrastructure business contributed 84% of the EBITDA, ensuring predictable cash flows, while cash profit from operations rose 51%. While the asset base increased 16%. Equity deployed to the total assets hit 62% with cash reserves at an all-time high. Net debt to EBITDA that also improved to 2.2 times from 3.3 times, indicating a robust financial health. The group believes its portfolio is now poised for an even greater growth, supported by strong liquidity, multiple credit rating upgrades, and they also saw some milestones in terms of asset addition, like India's first ingot and a wafer manufacturing facility in Mundra, integrating the Terminal 3 of Lucknow Airport, and also group is also building the world's largest energy park in Khavda.
All right, so that's all about Adani Group portfolio. But let's talk about Tata Power. Then Sneha, power stocks are powering ahead in trade today. In fact, that's been the trend for a while. But where do you see Tata Power headed now? What sort of a target are you penciling in for this one?
If we look at the chart structure, it's very strong. After this counter had a resistance around 300 plus zone, and it has surpassed that, and we have seen a very sharp move, continuously trading above 20 dem on the daily chart, which is said to be very positive technically. I believe we may soon see an up move beyond the record highs of plays around 460 and above level. So this counter is, it looks very appealing at this point in someone who, wants to take a fresh trade for a very short-term perspective. I think one can go long this in this counter with a strict stop loss around 447. Any up move beyond, say, 3 points from here, that is 460, I expect it to move towards 480, 485 odd zone. So this is a buy for me for a short-term perspective.
Talk about NTPC then. That one also from the entire power pack has hit a fresh record high level in today's trading session. It surpassed the levels of about 380.65 rupees per share last time I checked. The company on Friday commenced commercial operations at the second and the last part capacity add project in Rajasthan. So on back of that, the stock is buzzing in trade, and also it is participating in the broad-based rally that is underway in trade today, Vinny.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on NTPC, strong gain seen for that one. But Ahluwalia Contractors, Snehi, what is that doing in trade today? Is that also buzzing away?
Well, yes, absolutely. Last time I checked, the stock was higher by more than 4.5%. And as of now, also, it's right there, almost 4% higher. Now, the company has backed 2 contracts worth a total of 2,245 crore rupees. So that's a big order win coming in for the company. They've also secured an order worth 2,157 crore from the India Jewellery Park in Mumbai for the construction and development of Gems and Jewellery Park, which is in Mahape in Navi Mumbai. The time period for the completion of this order is 32 months. That was the first part of this order. And the second contract, which is worth 88 crore rupees, has been awarded by the Daffodil Hotel Private Limited for undertaking the civil work of Park Hyatt, which is located in South Goa. The estimated time period for this completion is 15 months. So on a whole, the company has bagged 2 orders worth a total of 2,245 crore rupees. And on the back of that, the stock is up almost 4%.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock that we should talk about. And on the technicals, Sneha, Ipca Labs is the stock that you've picked out for us. So when you look at it in terms of the move in the last couple of days, we're seeing a bit of a downfall. Today also, it's among the top FNO losers. So what is it that you're keeping an eye out on Ipca Labs?
See, I believe seeing the correction in last three sessions, I believe we may see further downside towards 1100, 1110 or levels. So I would say someone who's holding this counter should look for those levels and then review the counter. If any recovery should happen, I think that is the zone from where we may see some short covering move. So that is the zone. If someone is holding any shorts, I would say holding any longs, then I would say that keeping a strict stop loss of 11.07, one should keep a hold, maintain the long position. In case of any declines below, say 11.07, I think we may see a downfall towards 1040, 1045 odd zone. So someone who is holding this counter, this was for them. With a strict stop loss of 107, one can maintain a long position. Any correction below that, then one should review this counter and look for, because we may see in further selling pressure. So that's the call on this counter.
That's the take coming in on Ipca Labs. Or on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Market Fatafat. When we come back, we'll continue taking all of the stocks. Don't go anywhere.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.